show us where we're going to see people who are, their lives are really falling apart. And they took us to the real poverty-stricken places, and one was Logantown. I'd say 80% of the town was addicted on some type of drug and really hopeless. And there's so much of that going on, where people have become in bondage to something in the search for ultimate meaning. And what's really sad is there's forces that are keeping things the way that they are, that it's almost impossible. How does counseling come together? Well, we immediately can recognize that people are in the throes of addiction.
Have you ever heard the Rat City study done in the 60s?
No.
They did the study where they would put the rats in a cage and they would have 2 bottles of water. One was laced with drugs and one was just water. And the rats would always just be in the cage. They would drink from the bottle that had the drugs in it, and they would die in a very short time period. And they were like, well, yeah, if you're just hanging out in the cage with nothing to do, who wouldn't want the drugs? So they did this other study where they put rats in a thing where they gave them cheese and an exercise wheel and all of this other stuff to do. And they all didn't drink the drug water and die. They would just drink the regular water.
Wow.
And that's what I think about Liberia. Like, well, yeah, you got these people who they want to do things. They know that there's something more to do, but they're kind of stuck in that cage without any access to meaningful work whatsoever. I remember the first time we were over there, I was like, what do they have those jugs of? Is that honey? And they're like, no, they're reselling gasoline. And I'm doing the math, like, to see what they're buying this for and then reselling it. I'm going like, that's like no profit whatsoever. Like, this is a bad deal. Literally, like, they got to be making like $1 or $2 a day. But this is the type of avenues that the people are there. They're motivated to try to move themselves up, but they don't have it. So what's a great way if I want to figure out how to get out of poverty? Oh, look, I can get involved with drugs and trying to see that those things go around. And here's the other big thing. One, you look at Maslow, but second of all, you look at meaningful work. The ability to not be drawn into the hedonistic pleasures of drugs and alcohol, and to turn into a deeper, richer senses of well-being. You talked about the jugs of gasoline, that there's these motorcycles, and then there's something I never saw until I got to Africa, which was the KK. They're popular in Asia, India. They're little motorized carts. They're almost like trikes, but they're smaller and they have roofs on them. The motorcycles and KKs are ways that young people earn a living. It's very easy. If you can generate the kind of income to buy a motorcycle, then you can take people around places. And the lifestyle really, though, becomes what you're doing while you're in this work is you're using drugs to sort of zoom away the day. Like, you're having fun driving around, listening to music, meeting people, and it's just part of the culture. And a lot of these drivers become addicted to drugs and alcohol, and that's the life that they are leading. It's what the culture is pointing to as easy and immediate, and these things that are more deeply meaningful that you could generate a way out of poverty through meeting basic level need, through farming. What's this?
So this is just shops along the road.
If we were to zero in on this is the infrastructure. This is the Walmart of Liberia. If you wanted to go and buy shoes, this is what's available. And this person has gotten it together to buy or obtain about 15 pairs of shoes.
Yeah, so they're reselling stuff that they already have to each other through these kind of shops. That's what they're doing with gas, buying gas and upcharging it for smaller amounts.
So the yield that is able to be, from a full day's work is very little. When this goes on for years and years, that is part of the mindset. There's a meaningless quality of it, that this is an option, or you can ride around in a motorcycle and a KK and maybe work twice as much. Those drug-infested lines of work become very attractive. This person's trying to do it the right way.
Emmett and Kenneth are both pastors. Like, they are discipling these people that come and work there, and they're coming down saying, before where it was asking for things or like trying to figure out how to sell shoes, but now they're earning money, they're working. And Emmett's saying, we got to keep this going. Like, young people are coming down, they're earning money, they're using it to go pay for their college, to pay for things that they need. I really think if you look at the guy with the shoes, what they see in America is, you do go to a shoe store, because we're a post-industrial society, you could pick from 700 different pairs of shoes, but in a poverty-stricken place, you don't really need more than one pair of shoes or shoes at all. What you need is rice. You need food. Like, there's one thing that people are going to buy is this.
People have become in bondage to something in the search for ultimate meaning, have taken this opportunity and found out eventually that it was a trap. And that becomes our expertise, is going to find these people. And, we came up with the ideas that because when we were in Logantown, they were saying, we know that you're counselors. Take us to your rehabilitation. They know about that. And they have a system like that, but there's no money to pay for it. If we could take these individuals, their lives are just as worthwhile as people who are making it. They would go with us and learn farming and help us establish that. And the end product would be to show them how to find meaning, true meaning in their life. So this would be a faith-based farming project that would yield at the end of it somebody who would be able to establish their own business or work for another business knowing the trade of something that could truly be valuable in a place like Liberia that's stricken with poverty, that would lift it out of poverty. We are very good at running an operation like that in the United States. We can bring that, and we can bring together the counseling, because it's not like with people who are struggling like that, they're going to be like, oh yeah, let me just put together 40 hours of work a week and let's do it.
Right.
Day 2 is going to be, I'm confused, I'm still stuck in this place. And we would train people around that to get people out of poverty, in the emotional sense that they're in, as we give them the material and the functional ways of getting out of it. There's just a lot of opportunity there, and it really works well. And that's where counseling and farming come together. We would like to train missionaries from the United States on how to bring those kind of things together, because we want to counsel people, to rehabilitate people, and show them how to do it, and produce that kind of infrastructure as missionaries, and train other people to start to think that way. I think there's a lot of great missionary projects that are happening that way, but there could be exponentially more. That innovation that starts with, how do you build a farm from the ground up and sustain that? That's the first part of getting to where we've gotten in the United States. We just want to bring that one piece, and we know that eventually we can rehabilitate the heart and the mind, and also produce food that will produce income and produce jobs.
And meaningful work. That's the part that I think is so huge.